Hello everyone, welcome to the Mercury Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I'm going to continue with the same module, that is a business skills for e-commerce, and the new topic, that is a new chapter, that is a corporate digital libraries. In the last class we have finished with that chapter number 13, that is how the internet is related to the corporate finance, that is how various financial operations, various financial management is done using the internet, that is a internet and financial or internet and corporate finance. Now next chapter is that is chapter number 14, that is a corporate digital library. That is the next chapter. So let's start the chapter, let's start the session, let's start the chapter number 14, that is a corporate digital library. So these are the various topics, that is the structure of the chapter. First of all, there is an objective, then introduction, definition, benefits of digital libraries. So what is the main objective? Then just introduction to the chapter, definition of the digital library, then what are the benefits of digital libraries? That is, what are the advantages that the digital library provides? Then what are the issues and challenges that any customer, any manager faced in the digital libraries? Then requirements of digital libraries, cost of digital libraries, types of digital documents, corporate data warehouses, the Indian scenario, summary, keyword, self-assessment questions, and there is a suggested reading. So these are the 13 topics in this chapter. So let's start with the first of all objective, that what is the main objective of this chapter. So what is the main objective? The idea of easy fingertip access to information, what we conceptualize as digital libraries today, begin in 1945. That is, its introduction, its begin in 1945 and have continued to evolve with each advance in information technology. That its beginning is done, or its beginning was done in the 1945, and it is continued to evolve, it is continued to grow from the time of 1945, and with each advance in information technology. With the arrival of computers, a concept that is centered on large bibliographic databases are now familiar with online retrieval. So whenever there is arrival of the computer, whenever there is an introduction of the computer, the concept is centered on a large bibliographic databases. The concept is more focused on the bibliographic databases, that is more similar to the online retrieval and public access systems that is facing, or that is arrived with the public access medium. And when computers are connected into a large network forming the internet, that is, when the computers are using, or computers are used with the network or with the internet, the concept evolved again and research turned into creating libraries of digital information. That is, when the computers are used via internet, or when computers are connected with the internet, and therefore the concept has evolved again. That is, the concept of the revolution has evolved again, that tend to create the libraries of digital information. That is, every library is created in a digital form that could be accessed by anyone from anywhere in the world. That is, because there is a digital library that is available on the internet, so it is available anytime or anyone from anywhere in the world. Phrases like virtual library, electronic library, library without walls, and more recently digital libraries all have been used interchangeably to describe this broad concept. So in the digital library, if we say virtual library, that is also okay, electronic library, that is also okay, library without walls, because there is no walls, there is no foundation, everyone can access the digital library, that is library without walls. And more recently, digital libraries, that is in the more general term it is known as digital libraries, all have been used in an interchangeable form to describe this broad concept. To describe this concept, any term we can use, either digital library, virtual library, and any term we can use. After going through this lesson, that is after covering this lesson, you will be able to understand what is the concept of digital library, that is how to make the digital library, or what is digital library that is available on the internet, various benefits of digital library, various issues and challenges that is involved in digital library, find out and justify the different requirements of digital library, highlight the various types of digital documents in digital library, explore the digital library scenario in India. That is what is a digital library scenario in India that is available with the digital library. So let's start with these are the various topics that is you are able to give the answers after covering this chapter. So now let's start with the introduction. That is what is the introduction. This is when thousands of people read any government report on the internet. They retrieve the document from a major repository of government publication. What is repository? That is a database of government publications. So, and any report, whether it may be related to the PM, whether it may be related to the earthquake, whether it may be related to the rainfall, any report that is coming from the government side, that is available in the databases of the government publications. So, government publications store their databases, store their information in the databases, and public can take the database, can fetch the database and access the information from the main repository of the government publications. Millions of such documents are now available through the World Wide Web, which is ubiquitous as well as accessible from anywhere at any time. That is, millions of documents. There are so many reports, so many documents that is available in the government publications, and the user can access it at any time, anywhere in the meantime. Is retrieving that report or other similar publication from the web equivalent to using a digital library? There is no broad definition, no balanced collection of information that meets particular selection criteria. Internet publications lack standardization and validation. So there is no broad criteria, there is no broad collection that meets the particular selection criteria. That means any person can access the anytime the digital library. That is, there is no hard and fast rule that digital library is used in this process. Items have minimal cataloging or other bibliographic control. And finally, effective retrieval of information is not guaranteed. According to the Clifford Lynch, so he is a person that gives the definition of the digital library. This says, one sometimes hears the internet characterized as a world's library for the digital age. That is, a internet is also considered, or internet is also providing one of the feature, that is a world's library for the digital age. This description does not stand up under even casual examination. The internet, and particularly its collection of multimedia resources known as the WWW, was not designed to support the organized publication and retrieval of information as libraries are. That is, internet, and particularly its collection of multimedia resources is also known as WWW, was not designed to support the organized publication. That is, was not designed to support the organized publication and retrieval of information as libraries are. It has evolved into what might be thought of a chaotic repository for the collective output of the world's digital printing presses. In short, the net is not a digital library. That is, whenever we use the net, that is not a digital library, but there are some output, there are some input that is given to a digital library that is available with the digital printing presses. Next is the just-in-time library. That is, what is just-in-time library? This is a scenario that is given by the professor. That is, imagine a particular or perfect library that is situated somewhere in the cyberspace. The library is equipped with various resources like material, books, every resource that is used, discovery tools and material on every subject from all perspectives in a full range of formats. Users can connect to these library resources in many ways. That is, users can get the library in many ways. How it can get? From a catalog, index, abstract, finding aid, which link to full text, digital images, additions, metadata description of textual data or multimedia holding, from a local library whose resources can be delivered to users either on-site or by mail. So it can deliver the data. That is, just-in-time library means accessing the data or accessing the library, accessing the reports, accessing the subject from anywhere, from any site. Older titles are achieved and preserved, available on the demand. Help is offered in real time. That is, help is provided in a real time. That is 24 hours a day, 7 days in a week. In essence, that is, in totality, this virtual library can be used anytime, any place, by anywhere. That's why its name is just-in-time library. That is, it is available at any time, from anywhere, by anyone. There's no that you become a user, you become or you want to sign in for accessing the digital library. No, there is no criteria. Anyone can access the library, whether they have an account, whether they have a access to the internet. The main condition is that person should have a little bit connection over the internet, that a little bit bandwidth over the internet, so the page will be uploaded or the page will be opened, and the customer, anyone can access or read out the report, read out the digital library that is accessible from the digital library. So very important feature of digital library is that it is available anytime, from anywhere, and by anyone, right? So when you imagine in a just-in library, that rather than a just-in-case library, we have migrated from a state of scarcity to a state of abundance, transcending out geographic, legal and political boundaries with various libraries and issues. Our dream is for the emergence of a shared cyber library in which each of our individual institutions maintain its separate, unique identity but offers direct unlimited access to rich collection of resources that are no longer limited by location, format, cost, time of date or on-site restriction. That is, uh, we have to create a unique identity, unique library, so that everyone can access the library, or anyone can access the library at any time, from anywhere, at any cost. Now, next is definition of digital library. So my question arises, what is a digital library? There is much confusion surrounding this phrase. That is, there is so many confusion in this phrase, that is, what is digital library? That is stemming from three factors. That is, there are three factors that defines what is digital library. First one, the library committee or community has several uh, different phrases over the years to denote this concept, electronic library. So first of all, the library community provides, or library community has different phrases, had different phases or phrases or terms that is used over the year to denote this concept, that is known as electronic library. So library community provides various phrases, various phases or various terms that is used over the year to define the concept. So what are the different names of the digital library? It may be known as the electronic library, virtual library, library without walls, and it never was quite clear what each of the different phases meant. A digital library is simply the most current and most widely accepted term, and it is used almost exclusively at conferences, online, and in the literature. So digital library is the most important term, that is the most current usage term that is available, that is used in the day-to-day scenario, that is known as the digital library. Another factor that is adding to the confusion is that digital library are a focal point of many areas of research or different areas of research, and what constitutes a digital library differs depending upon the research community that is describing it. So it differs from the concept to concept. It differs from the research community to research community. That is what is digital library and how it is used. For example, how it is different. So these are the various examples how digital library is different from person to person, area to area, application to application. For example, from an information retrieval point of view, it is a large database. That is, if I want to access the info, sorry, I'm so sorry. Suppose I want to access any information from the library. I want information, I want to share my information to my boss, to my colleague, to my students, anyone. So it's a large database that stores every information about the concept, about the report, about the topic. And it is also used for a people who works on hypertext technology. It is one particular application of hypertext method. So it is used for the peoples who works on the hypertext, who works on the navigation technology, and it is one of the particular application of hypertext methods. And it is also used for those who is working in wide area information delivery, and it is also an application for the web. So it is also used for the wide area information delivery, or it is used for the people who is working in a wide area, that is who works for the wide area, who works for the geographical or who works for beyond the geographical location, who needs the information beyond the geographical location. So it is used, or it is used for those who working in a wide area information delivery, that is an application of web. And digital library is also used for the library science that begins over 25 years. In fact, a digital library is all of these things. That is, a digital library is a huge database. It works on the hypertext technology. It works for a delivery in wide area network, and it also works for the library science. These different research approaches will all add to the development of digital library. That is, these are the various, or these are the few examples that that's why there is a need for the digital library. So in simple terms, library means collection of information in a digital form with the use of internet, that is known as the digital library. Now, these are the two facts. These are the three factors that I'm using. First of all, the library community has different phrases, different names. Now, second approach is that there is much confusion about different areas where the digital library is used. Now, third concept is that there are many things on the internet that people are called digital library, which from a library point of view are not. That is, there is so much confusion, or there is so much disturbances, or so much confusion among the various concepts of the digital library, which from the librarian point of view, if I am saying that he or she is a librarian, so from the librarian point of view, that is not the correct definition, or that is not the correct thing from the for the internet. For example, what are the various concepts? What are the various concepts that is not correct according to the librarian point of view? For example, for computer scientists and software developers, collection of computer algorithm or software programs are digital libraries. So some software program developers who is doing the coding, they think that algorithms are also stored in the digital libraries, or we can store the algorithms in digital library. As well as the scientists can also think that they store the formulas in the digital library, and anyone can access, or anyone can use that digital calculations, digital formulas with the help of digital library. But that is not correct. This is not correct according to the librarian point of view. Then it is used for the database vendor, or it is wrongly, we say that it is wrongly used as a database vendors or commercial document suppliers. Their database is an electronic document delivery and services in digital libraries. That is, this is not okay, because database vendors or document suppliers also use this one, and that is not correct for the digital library, because we cannot store the database, we cannot store the electronic document and digital libraries in the various organizations of various organizations. And from the librarian point of view, for large corporation, digital library is not used as a document, but it is used for the large corporation. A digital library is a document management system that controls their business documents in electronic form. So it is also wrongly used by the large organization that use the digital library as a common tool, as a document management system that control their business document, that find their business document in the electronic form. Next, it is also not correctly used for a publisher. It may be an online version of a catalog. And for at least one very large software company, a digital library is a collection of whatever it can buy the rights to and then charge people for using. So digital library is a collection of whatever it can buy the rights. So anyone can transfer the rights, or anyone can use the rights, or anyone can take the rights that is used in the digital libraries. So these are the various facts, or these are the various terms that people are using the digital library in a wrong sense. Because people think that this is library, this is storage, we can store any information. But that is not correct. We cannot store, or we are not able to store each and every information in the digital library. That is not okay. A fair example of what many people consider to digital library is World Wide Web. As I said, people think that every information or any information we can store over the digital library, but that is not correct. We cannot store every information over the World Wide over the digital library as we can store in the www, that is worldwide web. The web is a gathering of thousands and thousands of documents. Many people call this huge data collection is a digital library because they can find information. But that is okay, but that is not correct because it is not a uh, www, but store the information from the company point of view, from the report point of view, from the manager's point of view, but that is not correct. But people think that this is correct and we can use or we can save any document like a www. Just as they do banking in a digital bank or buy compact disk in a digital record, yet it is a web or digital library. Therefore, in examining the various examples what are called digital libraries, it appears that librarians have been confused about a digital library is. Then the word library has been appropriated to many groups to describe either their area of research or signify a simple collection of digital objects. So what is a working definition of digital library that makes sense? Now, this comes that what is a working definition. So as a starting point, we should assume that digital libraries are libraries with the same purposes, functions and goals as traditional libraries: collection, development and management, subject analysis, index creation, provision of access, reference work and preservation. So what is the working definition of digital library? It is just a library that serves the purpose, that is used for the various purpose, functions, and these are the same functions as the traditional library have or library collection, development and management have. There is a index creation, there is a provision of access, there is a reference work, there is a preservation. So everything that contain these terms, these topics, that is known as the digital library. A narrow focus on digital formats also hides the extensive behind the scenes work that libraries to do to develop and organize collection and to help the find information. So it is nothing but collection of information. So the information will be compiled, will be stored in a like a repository form, like a database form in the digital library form, so that people can access the information at any time, anywhere, by anyone. That is, there is no hard and fast rule that this information will be gathered by persons who have signed in for this one. That is, they have an account for this one. No, that is not hard and fast rule that they have an account, but anyone can access. But some people think that every information like a www is available in digital library. That is also not okay part. The institutions involved in the American Digital Library Federation came up with a similar notion of digital library. It also emphasizes the traditional underpinning of library selection, access and preservation, as well as the fact the digital library will necessarily be constructed to serve particular communities. So digital libraries are organizations that provide the resources, including the staff, to select, structure, offer intellectual access, to interpret, distribute, preserve the integrity, and ensure the persistent over time of collection of digital works so that they are readily and economically available for use by a defined community or set of communities. So in simple terms, these libraries are organizations that provides the resources, including the staff, how to select, what is the structure, what is how to offer intellectual access, how to distribute, preserve the integrity of, and ensure the persistent over time of collection of digital works. Digital library also includes the digital materials that exist outside the physical and administrative bounds of only one digital library. And it also includes the processes and services. So now these points says what does the digital library contains. So first of all, it says that it also includes or it contains the digital material, that is anything that is available or that you want to show over the internet with the use of internet, with the use of online method. So you can store them, you can include them in the digital material that exists outside the physical and admin bounds of any one digital library. Next point says digital library also includes or will include all the processes and services that are the backbone and the nervous system of libraries. However, such traditional processes, forming the basis digital library work and will have to be revised and enhanced to accommodate the difference between new digital media and traditional fixed media. It also provides, or digital library also provides, a concurrent view of all the information contained within a library no matter its form or format. That is, it provides a relevant information about the topic, whether they be available in a proper format, in Word format, Excel format. It may be in any format but provides each and every information that is relevant to the topic. And this also serves a particular communities or constituencies as a traditional library do, though those communities may be widely spread throughout the network. Digital library will require both the skills of librarian as well as those of computer scientist to be viable. So digital library requires both the skills that is required by the librarian as well as those of computer scientist that is to be viable, that is to be used. Many corporations are finding that the most effective way to manage their business information is through a corporate library. That is, many organizations find it that it is a better to use a corporate library to manage their information. Information means from where the money came, from to whom the money goes. That is, every money related terms, who are the stakeholders, who are the concerned person, from where the money comes, what is the profit consideration, the tables, charts, cost and profit, cost benefit analysis. So every information, it may be related to any architecture, model, map, integration, that is any information that is used, that is stored in the or companies prefer to store in the corporate library, because that provides each and every information whenever it is required. Today, the term digital library is widely used as a generic term for diverse information structure that provides organization and worker access to vast amount of internal information that is encoded in multimedia format. That is, the information that is available in multimedia format that is used as a digital library. Companies can perform more substantive, accurate, and consistent analysis using the digital library as a foundation for decision support system. The digital library is a monothetical entity but a loose collection of distributed online information source database and electronic document that is organized in a meaningful form. So it is a loose collection of distributed online source databases and electronic document that is organized, that is available in a meaningful form. That is, any information that is available in the meaningful form, that is electronic document, that is a distributed online databases. Now, digital library is divided into two parts. That is, there are two types of digital libraries. One is electronic document based digital library. One is a structured data or database oriented warehouses. So first of all, what is document digital libraries? So whenever we use the document processing, that is, whenever we want to process any document, first of all, it will be stored in the digital document library or document digital library. We use the term document in the broadcast sense to denote all the known data records, including books, reports, paper material, electronic files, video, audio. So any document that is stored or that is used or that if we want to publish or store in the digital library, that is available in the or that is used as a document library or that is stored in the document digital library. For example, the reports, paper, material, electronic file, videos and audio. The revolution of digital documents has been spurred by availability of inexpensive network technology and applications. That is, a digital document can also be supplied with or supplied with by the availability of inexpensive network technology. It is quite clear that the new information generated outside of relational database is done in digital format, document format. That is, it is available in digital document form, whether it may be word processing, spreadsheet, CD-ROM, audio recording, digital video and others. And from the electronic commerce point of view, a document digital library is simply a distributed network of interrelated component. So when I say e-commerce, or from e-commerce point of view, that is a trading of goods and services, this digital library is simply a distributed network of interrelated components. That is, every information are interrelated with each other. That is, if a user wants to buy something, so he or she get the information up from the digital library. That is, what type of information about any product, resources, services. A new method of storage and preservation, new approaches to classification and cataloging, new modes of interaction with information, and shifts in the organizational practices. So this is what is known as the document digital library. That is, every document is stored in this library, that is known as document digital libraries. Next is data warehouses. That is the next part. That is the next type of digital library. That is the data warehouses that are designed as a central information repository. That is, a central information repository means a database that is in central position for combining and storing vast amount of historical and reference data from a number of different resources. So it is used, or it is designed as a central database. Central means every information is stored in a central way in a database form for combining and storing vast amount of historical and reference data from a number of different sources. These corporate data sources includes mainframe databases, client-server relational databases, spreadsheet, text reports, flat files, and proprietary system. That is, whatever the corporate database is, whatever the corporate sources, that includes the mainframe database, client-server database, spreadsheet, text-based database, and the proprietary system. A data warehouse is simply stated is a physical separation of an organization's operational data system from its decision support system. It includes a repository of information. That is, it includes a collection of information that is built using data from the far-flung and often departmentally isolated system. So a repository means collection of information that is using data that is built using the data from the far-flung, that is a different isolated systems. Building a data warehouse also allows the companies to optimize query times and enables manager to be consistent in their analysis. That is, whenever we build a data warehouse, that also allows the companies to optimize the query times, or also enables to make the analysis very clear. Now next is this is now let's see what are the challenges of the digital libraries. That is, what are the challenges that is faced in the that is faced by the organization, by the persons while using the digital libraries. So one of the challenges, a need for a data model that provides an organizational schema that is to be used or to be stored, or to be taken, or to, if I want to store any information, if I want to store the data, if I want to store the database, if I want to store the information in the digital library, there is a need for a data model. That is, there is a need for a data architecture that is that shows the organization's behavior, that shows the organization hierarchy. So there is a need of a data model so that the data will be stored in an easier form, so this is also one of the major challenge. If a company does not have a proper clear-cut data model, so it is very difficult to store them in the digital library. So condition is that there is need for data model whenever I want to store the data in the digital library. Then a strategy. So what is a strategy? So it is also a challenge that a strategy is needed for populating the model with the data. That is, a strategy means a method is used or proper criteria is used for populating the model, for using the model with the data. Then a way for a users to get useful information out of the digital library. So that is the next point, that is the next challenge, that is the next part. So what is the challenge? What is the criteria of challenge? That is a way for the users to get useful information out of the digital library. Now these are the three challenges that is faced by any organization, individual, while using the digital libraries. Now, next is what are the benefits of digital libraries? That is, what are the advantages of digital libraries? So first point says the fundamental reason for building digital libraries is a belief that they will provide better delivery of information than was possible in the past. So what is the fundamental reason, or what type of, or what is the main logic behind this? So the fundamental reason for building digital libraries is a belief that they will provide better delivery of information than was possible in the past. Traditional libraries are fundamental part of societies, but they are not perfect. That is, digital libraries provides various benefits. Why they provide various benefits? Because they are in digital form, they are in network-based form, internet-based form. That's why they provide more benefits as compared to the traditional one that is a part of the society. That is a fundamental part of the society. So can we do better? So this is the question. Can we do better to arrange the digital libraries? So the first point says enthusiasts for digital libraries point out that computers and network have already changed the ways in which people can communicate with each other. That is, whether it may be digital library or whether there is a usage of digital libraries or not, but even though computers and network have already changed the content, changed the way in which people can communicate with each other. In some disciplines, they argue a professional or scholar is better served by sitting at a personal computer connected to a computer or communication network. That is, anyone can access the internet, anyone can access the network and contain the or retrieve the information that is available in the digital library. Information that was previously available only to the professional is now available to the all. So this is one of the main definition. Information that is first of all that is available in a precise form, in a professional form, is now directly available to all, is now directly available to each and every person. From a personal computer, the user is able to consult materials that are stored on computer around the world. Conversely, all but the most decided enthusiasts recognize that the printed documents are so much part of civilization that their dominant role cannot change except gradually. So these are the various benefits of the digital library. Now let's see what are the digital library benefits. So this is divided, or benefits of digital libraries are divided into three parts. One is the technical uh, benefits, economical benefits, and the legal benefits. That is, it provides the technical strong or technical sound, it provides the economical sound, that is cost effective, proper techniques usage, and the legally feasible, that is proper rules and regulations are also, or there will be proper rules and regulation that is used in the digital library. Now what are the or let's see what are the some of the potential benefits of digital libraries. The digital library brings the library to the user. That is, it brings the library to the user. That is, any user can access at any time. That is, this says to use a library requires access. That is, whenever I want to use a library, that requires access. Traditional methods requires that the user goes to the library. That is, whatever the traditional method that requires that the user have to go to the library by any mode, by any transport media. But in digital form, anyone can access the digital library, or anyone can access the library from anywhere, from any point of view. That is, the library is available by sitting at my place, by sitting at your place. That is, there is no need to go to the library to search the information. In a university, the work to a delivery takes a few minutes, but not many people are member of universities or have a nearly or nearby library. Many engineers or physicians carry out their work with differently poor access to the latest information. A digital library brings the information to the user desk. As I told you that every information is available to the user desk either at the work or at home, making it easier to use and hence increasing its usage. That is, the whenever there is a digital library or whenever we use the digital library, so every information is available to the user's desk either at the work or at home, making it easier to use and hence increasing the usage. With the digital libraries, a user needs never visit a library building, as I told you. This is the one advantage. That is, digital library brings the library at the home at the user's site. Now, next benefit is that computer power is used for searching and browsing. That is, uh, users do not want to go and search the books line by line in shelf by shelf. No, there is no requirement for finding out the books, but the computer can do everything. That is a computer power, computer concept, computer benefit can do the searching and browsing. So computing power can be used to find the information. Paper documents are convenient to read, but finding information that is stored on paper can be difficult. So finding the books, finding the paper, finding the concept, finding the reports while going to the library is very difficult. So if I use the digital library, everything is doing the computer. Simply I use the control F, that is use the finding purpose, or used any software application for finding the term, for finding the concept, for finding the topic. In most aspects, computer systems are already better than the manual method for finding the information. They are not good as everybody would like, but they are good and improving steadily. That is, they are using, or they are good and improving very fast. Now next is information can be shared. That is the next topic, that is the next not topic, that is the next advantage. So first advantage is that there is no need to go to the library. The next advantage is that it is, or computer is only used for searching. There is no need for the person to search manually. Now information can be shared. That is the next benefit. That is the same information you can access, I can access, anyone can access. That is the same information will be shared, or same information can be shared again and again, time by time, one by one, from any person at anywhere at any time. So anyone can access the information anywhere, from anywhere at any time. So there is no hard and fast rule that the information cannot be shared, but the information can be shared in a simplest way. So libraries and archives contain much information that is unique. Placing digital information on a network makes it available to everybody. Many digital libraries or electronic publications are maintained at a single central site, perhaps with a few duplicate copies. That is around the world. So that is, information can be shared around the people, among the people. This is a vast improvement over expensive physical duplication of little used material. Next is, information is easier to keep current. That is, information is easier, or information is easiest way to keep the current information, to keep the updated information. So much information, or much important information, needs to be brought up to update continually. As I said, the each and every information needs to be updated at every time. So much important information needs to be brought up to date continually. Printed materials are awkward to update since the entire document must be reprinted. All copies of old versions must be tracked down and replaced. Keeping information current is much less of a problem when the definitive version is in digital format and stored on a central computer. So whenever the computer, or whenever keeping the information current, that is update the information whenever there is a requirement for updating the information. So there is not a problem in updating the information when the information is available online, or when every concept is available in a digital form, in a digital library. So simply we can update the information, because it is very easy to update the information in a digital format. Why? The main reason is that everything is online. Simply upload the new document in place of a old document. But if it is a manual work, that is very difficult to update the information, because we have to pass the information to manager, sub-manager, hierarchy level. That is, the same paper will be rotated to so many levels, and there will be a sign. But in e-system, that is in a digital system, everything is doing online. So there is no usage for the paper rotating. The next is very important concept, that is the next benefit, that the information is available or always available. That is not at a single time, that is not in a single even a single time that the information is not available, but the information is always available. That is, anyone can access the information at any time, from anywhere. That is, the information is always available with the concept of digital libraries. So the doors of digital library never close. That is the doors, that is the anyone can access the digital library at any point of time. A recent study at a British university found that about half the usage of a library digital collection was at hours when the digital library or the library buildings were closed. Materials are never checked out to other readers, misshelved or stolen. They are never in off-campus warehouse. So the scope of the collection expands beyond the walls of the library. Private papers in the office or a collection of library on the other side of the world are easy to use as a material in the local library. Digital libraries are not perfect. Computer system can fail and network may be slow or unreliable. But compared to a traditional library, information is much more available when the user needs it. Right. Now, next is new forms of information becomes possible. That is, whatever the information that is stored, so there are new forms of information. So we can store the information in any format. That may be an Excel format, that may be a Word format, that may be a PowerPoint format. So whenever we use the digital library, so we can change the format on a regular basis on at any time whenever I need that I want to give the information in a presentable form. So that is also stored, or that is also done by using the digital library. So most of us, or most of what is stored in a conventional library is printed on a paper. Yet print is a better way or the best way to record the information. But when the different formats are available, or when we use a digital format, so there are different formats available like computer, satellite data, mathematics library that can store the various expressions, various terms, various definitions, various formulas, anything that is used. So there are various benefits that is available, or we can use, that is material that is created for digital world can have a vitality that is lacking in material that have been used mechanically converted into digital format. So if I want to use, or I want to contain, or I want to change into JPG format, I want to change into TIFF format, LPG format, and any format that I can use, so any information can be easily converted into other format. So each of the benefits described above can be seen in existing digital libraries. There is another group of potential benefits which have not yet demonstrated that holds tantalizing prospects. The hope is that digital library will develop from static repository to of immutable object to provide a wide range of services that allows collaboration and exchange of ideas. That is, the digital library is the main concept, or the main idea, or the main hope is that they provide a range of services that allows collaboration, that is communication and exchange of idea. Because the same information you can access, the same information I can access. So that includes the collaboration, that is communication, as well as the exchange of ideas. The technology of digital libraries is closely related to the technology that is used in the field, such as electronic mail and the teleconferencing, which have historically had little relationship to the libraries. The potential for convergence between these fields is exciting. That is, there are so many advantages that is available in the digital library that is used for the various digital concepts. So, till now we have covered what are the various benefits that is available in the digital libraries. Now, once we can recall what are the various benefits, first of all, new forms of business or new forms of information becomes possible. The information is always accessible or always available. First of all, new forms, information is always available. Information is easier to keep correct or current, that is up-to-date information. Then the information can also be shared. Then the computer power is used for searching and browsing, and digital library brings the library to the user. That is, there is no need for the user to go to the library manually and take out the books, take out the material, take out the report. No, there is no requirement. Now next is Issues and challenges in digital library. So we have covered the benefits. Now the next term is what are the various issues and what are the various benefits in digital libraries. But before this, let's take a break and then move to this topic, that is what are the various issues and challenges in digital libraries. So first of all, let's take a break right now, then move to this part. So let's take a break first of all. Now come back from the break. Now let's start the session again. So next topic is what are the issues and challenges in digital libraries. That is what are the various challenges that is faced by the persons, or what are the various challenges that is faced by the organizations, government while using the digital libraries, and what are the various issues that is available in the digital library. So the highest priority of a library, digital or any other, is to serve the research need of a clientele. That is the basic priority, is that it is to use, or it is used, digital library is used to serve the needs of a customer, to serve the needs of a person. The development, maintenance and extension of its collection and its technology must be supportive as well as the subordinate to his primary objective. That is the development, maintenance, extension of the collection and various technology also one of the primary objective that is used in the digital library. However, in digital library environment, the functions of the author, publisher, vendors who wants to publish anything, who wants to give the reports, who wants to sell out anything, that may vary. That is, it depends on the author, it depends on the publisher. So their functionality is very different from each other. Both information professional and the user will do the work of collection. That is, both the individual, both the professional and the users will do the work of collection, storage, dissemination and the organizational work. The user's work is however known as personal file collection. That is, the user work is known as the personal file collection, that is used for the data storage, that is used for the data access. So anyone who uses personally, who use any user who uses the digital library, so they can use the information, or they can use the library, or they can store their personal work, that is the user work, that is known as the personal file collection. Anyone who has access to computer in network can easily become a publisher. So anyone who wants to publish something, who wants to access something, so he or she becomes a publisher at any time by publishing any content. An author, merely by posting messages to online discussion group, he or she becomes an author. In such an environment, information appears in one day and can be altered or disappear in the next day. In this condition, how to give a citation, how to collect a copy of the required information, how to organize the information. These are the debatable questions. So these are the various questions, that is how to collect a copy, how to organize the information. As this paragraph says, that anyone can become a publisher, but it is very difficult to manage the document, to arrange the document. So these are the various questions, that is the challenges faces, that are the various issues that is available in digital libraries. The next point says only digital information is disseminated. Some are produced locally and most information is obtained by a remote access. That is, only the digital information that is provided online, or that is in the digital form, is disseminated. But some are produced locally or some are produced globally. That is a remote access. Most of these information are less permanent in nature. So it is very difficult to professional to decide what should be organized. That is, what is organized, or what should be organized, or what content should be organized, or who should do it, what standard to be followed. So there are so many questions, there are so many challenges whenever any organization, whenever any publisher, any user wants to disseminate the digital information. Next is users only locate the information. The information is not usually structured. So no rules or codes are followed and no one to control the information that is made available. So users only locate the information and information is not only structured, no rules are followed and no one to control the information. That is, users can simply get the information. They are not, that is, there are no structure, no rules regulation, no controlling that is made available. So these are the various challenges, these are the various issues that is available in the digital library. That is, anyone can upload any information on the digital library, but it is difficult to manage, it is difficult to recode, it is difficult to follow the rules, it is difficult to structure the information, manage the information, organize the information in a suitable form. Next issue is that the data information will be of different type. So to organize them is very different. The same concept, the same topic, the same line, the same point. That is, there are different concepts that is of different type. One is of integer type, one is of data type, one is of mass type, one is of long type, int type. So there are different concepts, there are different varieties like gopher type, FTP, that is a file transfer type. So it is very difficult to organize these different concepts, these different data in a collective way. So it is very difficult to organize the data, reconstruct the data who have different format. For example, one JPG file, that is a joint photographic expert group file, cannot be considered as a MPG file. So there are different concepts, there are different standards, there are different concepts, there are different extensions. So it is very difficult to upload the documents in a digital library with a different formats, with a different extension like JPG, MPG, TIFF, any formats, any different formats. So this is also one of the challenge, because if I want to get the picture, that is in JPG format. If I want to upload the document, that is in DOCX format. So it is difficult to manage various standards. So that is also an issue that is faced by many organizations. The tools like Gopher, Mosaic helps in cataloging, searching and retrieval information from this digital library. Now, in order to upload the document, the data or the document must be compressed, that is in a small size, so that it will be easily uploaded on the digital library. So there are various techniques, there are various formats that is used for compressing the document. So specialized technologies are needed for compressing as well as for organizations or information. That is, specialized techniques are required, are needed for compressing the data. Generally, there are two techniques that is used. One is joint photographic expert group, that is a compression technique. One is a motion photographic expert group. Database management methods, whether extended, relational or object oriented, not only are needed to support direct use of the data collection in digital library, but also helps to handle the catalogs, admin, security control and other services. So there are various techniques that is used for the compression the data, so that the organization's needs are fulfilled, or organization data will be uploaded on the digital library so that it can be accessed by anywhere from anywhere. But the main issue is that how to analyze the data, how to convert the data, how to compress the data, how to represent the data by various histograms, by various tools, by various charts, pie chart, pie graph. So it is very difficult to represent the data, analyze the data. So that is also an issue, that is also a challenge for the or from the organization's point of view. So with the optimums and high from the early 19s that has been replaced by a realization that building digital library will be difficult, expensive and long-term effort. That is, in the 1990s it is considered as it is very difficult to build the libraries, it is very expensive to build the libraries, and it is a long-term effort. That is, there are so many effort that is used for the digital libraries. Creating effective digital library poses various challenges. The integration of digital media into traditional collection will not be straightforward like previous new media because of the unique nature of digital information. Some of the major issues that is facing the development of digital libraries are outlined below. So what are the various issues, what are the various challenges that is used, that is focused, that is used for the, or that will be faced by the organizations while develop the digital libraries. So what are the various issues that is faced? First is technical architecture. That is a technically it is, or it must be strong. That is, the digital library must be technically strong. That is the technical architecture. So the first issue is that of the technical architecture that underlies any digital library system. Libraries will need to enhance and upgrade current technical architecture to accommodate digital materials. That is, the libraries will need, or libraries will take to enhance and upgrade current technical architectures. Current technical architecture means that are currently, or that are technically strong to accommodate the digital libraries. The architecture will include components. So what does the architecture include? That includes the components such as high-speed local network and fast connection to the internet, relational databases that supports a variety of digital format. So what type of technicals or what type of technical things that are needed, or what type of component that is needed for making the architecture of digital library as a technically strong. So there must be a high-speed local network, that is there must be a high-speed network for the fast connection to the internet. There will be a relational databases, that is the databases are linked with each other, that supports a variety of digital formats. That is the database should be in relation with each other, related with each other, that supports a variety of digital formats. Full text search engine to index and provides access to resources. Variety of servers such as web servers and FTP servers. Electronic document management functions that will aid in the overall management of digital resources. That is electronic document management function that is also used, that will used as a overall management of digital resources. One important thing to point out about the technical architecture for digital library is that they won't be monolithic systems. Instead, there will be a collection of disparate systems and resources that is connected through a network and integrated within one interface, most likely a web interface or one of its descendants. For example, the resources that is supported by the architecture could include, so what type of resources it is required, what type of resources that our architecture will support will required would include, first is bibliographic databases that point to both paper and digital material, indexes and finding tools, collection of pointers, directories, primary materials, photographs, numbers, and electronic journals. Therefore, these resources may reside on different systems and in different databases. They would appear as though they were single system to the users of a particular community. Even though these resources will be separate or will be resides on a different computer, but when the user access any information with the help of digital library, they appears as they were available on a single system, because that is these resources are available on a single system, and that is available on the single system, so that there is no problem of widespreading the digital libraries. The problem is that across multiple libraries there is a wide diversity, there is a wide range of different data structures, search engine, interfaces, control vocabularies, document format, and so on. That is the main problem that is used with the multiple digital library. Whenever there is a more than digital libraries, that various formats, various interfaces, various search engine, that is different search engine, different databases, and because of this diversity, because of this changes, the digital library would impossible or would an impossible effort, that is either used as a national or an international way. Therefore, the first task would be to find sound reasons for federating particular digital library into one system. So the first task is to make, or is to find out the various reasons to become or to make the particular libraries into one system. Further, because of the often uncertain futures of both de jure and de facto standards over time, what those standards are is unclear. So this is the one of the issue that is used, that is the technical architecture. Now, next is building digital collections. That is also one of the greatest or one of the largest issue. So this is one of the largest issue in creating digital library will be of building of digital collections. That is how to build or how to collect or how to build the various digital collection. That is one information is different one, another information is different one. So how to build the different digital collections. Obviously, for any digital library to be viable, it must eventually have a digital collection with the critical mass to make it truly useful. There are essentially three methods of building digital collections. That is how to build digital collection or how to collect the various digital components. So there are essentially three methods of digitally or building digital collections. So what are the three methods of building the digital collections? The first is digitization. So first tool or the first method or the first mode is digitization. That is Digitization means converting the paper and other media in existing collection to the digital form. That is making or converting the paper method, converting the media method into digital form, into 0 and 1 form. Then next is acquisition of original digital works. That is acquisition means um, composition of or collection of various original digital works that is used by or that is created by the worker, scholars, publishers. For example, the e-books, journals and data sets, that is a collection of various original digital work. Then access to external materials that are not held in-house by providing pointers to websites, other library collections or publishers' servers. While the third method may not exactly constitute part of a local collection, it is still a method of increasing the materials available to the local users. One of the main issues, that is the degree to which libraries will digitize existing materials and acquire original digital works as opposed to simply pointing to them externally. This is the reprise of the old access versus ownership issue, but in the digital realm with many of the concerns such as local control of collections and long-term access and preservation. So what about digital collection building in a control sequence? So there are so many reasons why it is using as a digital method to be used in a digital way. How can specific material to be processed by different institutions? So what are the various factors that affects the digital materials or that affects the digital strength? So what are the various factors? First is collection strength. So first point says the collection strength. That is a particular library with a strong collection focus could be responsible for digitizing selected point portions of it and adding new digital works to it. Then next is unique collections. That is, there should be a unique collection, there should be a different collections. That is, libraries have a different copies of something. They are obviously the ones to digitize it. That is a unique collection. Then the priorities of users community, that is there are different priorities of the users community. Such priority will justify holding the materials locally, for example because of demands of a curriculum. Then manageable portions of the collection. When there is no other overriding criteria, the material will be or can be divided up among institutions simply according to what is reasonable for any institution to collect or digitize. Then technical architecture, that is how technically the library will be stored. What are the technical terms, what are the technical terms that is used, what are the technical concepts that is used in the digital library. Then skill of staff, that is how many staff members are required or allotted for the digital library or to maintain, to update, to adjust the digital library. Yet no matter how is the collection of built-in or built-off material digitized in-house of original data works or for providing access to material by pointing to external resources. Libraries in a collective must ensure that it is preserved and made available in a perpetuity, that is, it is available in a perfect manner, in a perfect way. Now, next concept is what is digitization. Recall that one of the primary method of digital collection building is digitization. That is, whenever I want to collect anything that is in digital form, so one of the major method, one of the primary method is digitization. What does this term means exactly? If simply put, it is a conversion of any fixed or analog media such as books, journal articles, photos, painting, microforms into electronic form through scanning, sampling or in fact even rekeying. So what does this means? This is a conversion of any fixed or analog media. That may be a books, that may be a journal, that may be article, that may be a photos, that may be a painting, that may be a microphone into electronic form, either through the scanning, sampling or in fact even rekeying. An obvious obstacle to digitization is that it is very expensive. That is obvious obstacle means obvious hindrance that it is very expensive. how do you go about deciding what parts of a collection to digitize? There are several approaches that is available, that is used, that how different parts are digitized. There are different methods that is used, at least theoretically. The first point is retrospective conversion of collection. That is starting at A and ending up with Z. That is a proper retrospective conversion of collection. The next is digitization of a particular special collection or a portion of one. That is all collection of manageable sizes which are or which is highly valued is a prime candidate. That is every material or every collection of manageable things, manageable size, that is highly valued, that the content or the digital material is in the manageable size. Then highlight a diverse collection by digitizing the particularly good examples. That is highlight a diverse collection. Then high use material, that is making those material that are in most demand, that is more accessible, that is demand by the that is more demandable by the user. Then next is ad hoc approach. Ad hoc approach means a permanent or sorry temporary approach where one digitize and store material as they are requested. That is this is however a haphazard method of digital building or digital collection building. These approaches can be used alone or in combination depending upon a particular institution goal for digitization, and that includes potential for long-term use, intellectual or cultural use, whether they provide greater access than possible with original material, and whether copyright instructions, restrictions or licensing will permit the conversion or not. Now, next concept is what is metadata. So anything that is related to one data, that is whenever I want to store a data about some data, that is known as metadata. I'm repeating again, that is any data that is stored about the data. Suppose if there is one data, I want to store the data, I want to store the information about that data that is already stored, that is known as metadata. So metadata is simply data about the data, that is gathering the data about any data that is already available, that is known as metadata. So metadata is another issue that is central to the development of digital library. Central means that is very focused, or that is a main aim to the development of digital library. Metadata is the data that describes the content and attributes of any particular item in digital library. So metadata is the data that describes the content and attribute of any particular item in digital library. So if I want to describe any item in a digital library, that is known as the metadata. It is a concept that is similar or familiar to librarians because it is one of the primary things that librarians do. They create cataloging records that describes the document. Metadata is important in digital libraries because it is a key to resource discovery and use of any document. Anyone who have used Alta Vista, Excite or any of the other search engine on the internet knows that simple full text searches don't scale in a large scale network. One can get thousands of hits, but most of them will be irrelevant. While there are formal library standards for metadata, namely AACR, such records are very time consuming. So any information that we gather for the any information that we gather for any information for any topic in the digital library, that is known as metadata. The lack of common metadata standards ideally defined for use in some specified content, that is another barrier to information access and to be used in a digital library, or you be used in a coordinated digital library scheme. Now the next concept is naming conventions, that is how to name the conventions, how to use the conventions in the various naming. That is naming, identifiers and persistent. That is the next part. The fifth issue that is related to the metadata is the naming convention. That is, what are the names that is used, or what we can give the name that is used to identify the various objects in a digital library. Suppose I want to store the 5 reports in a digital library. So what kind of name, or what is the name that is supplied to a digital, or that is applied to different documents of a digital library? so that they are uniquely identified, or there is a uniquely identification of the digital objects and a part of any document metadata. Names are as important in a digital library as in a ISBN number, as in a or is in a traditional library. In a traditional library, there is a ISBN number, but nowadays in digital library that are identified or that are important in a digital library. They are needed to uniquely identify digital objects for purposes such as, that is, they are needed to identify the objects such as citations, information retrieval, to make the links among objects, and for the purposes of managing copyrights. Any system of naming that is developed must be permanent, lasting indefinitely. That is, any system of naming, that is any system that we are using that we have used for naming convention must be permanent, that is, it is used permanent, it is lasting indefinitely, that is, it is used in an indefinite way. This means, among other things, that the name cannot be bound up with a specific location. The unique name and its location must be separate. This is very much unlike URLs, the current method for identifying the objects on the internet. URLs confound in one string several items that should be separate. They include the method by which a document is accessed. For example, HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, a machine name and a document path, that is a location, and a document file name which may or may not be unique. That is, the URL contains various parts, various methods, that is the document, how the document is accessed, the machine name, document path, and the file name that may not be unique, that may not be accessed, that is the HTML file. A global scheme of unique identifying is the identifiers is required. That is, the unique identifiers is required to find out uniquely identify the naming conventions. These names would remain valid whenever documents are moved from one location to another or are migrated from one medium to another medium. The issue of persistent naming raises it in a consistent way as well. Next is copyright or the right management. That is also an issue, that whenever I want to upload any document in a digital library, that needs a copyright, because that is my document, so I need a copyright for this. So digital objects are less fixed, easily copied, and remotely accessible by multiple users simultaneously. So there is no guarantee that digital object cannot be hacked. They are hacked because they can, or anyone can access the digital objects at any time from anywhere. So it is easy to access the digital objects. So digital objects are less fixed, that is, they are no fixed, easily copied, that is, anyone can copy the digital objects, and remotely accessible, that is, anyone can access digital objects, or multiple users can access the multiple objects or the digital objects simultaneously. I am also using the same object, you are also using the same object. That is not fixed. So this is the main problem, that is the main right, that there should be a proper copyright, but that is not possible, because if I use the copyright, then how other person can access my digital data or my digital library or my digital library document. So that is not also possible. Some right management functions should include using the tracking, that is, some management functions are used in place of the copyright. What are the various management functions? That is, usage of the tracking, identifying and authenticate the user, providing the copyright status of each digital object, handling transactions with the users. So these are the various methods, these are the various management functions that will include or that should be used while making the that is used in place of the copyright. Whether for methods, using the tracking, identifying, authenticating, providing the copyright, handling the transactions. Next is preservation. Next part is, what is the preservation? That is, how to preserve the content. So this is the topic that I am not starting right now, because this is the important one, that is how to preserve the content, how to preserve the content that is uploaded or that is stored in the digital library, that is a preservation. So I'm going to start this topic in the next class, that is in the tomorrow's class. So that's all for today's session. I'm winding up over here only. Now if there is any doubts, if there is any suggestions, any advice, so you can ask any doubts, any suggestions, you can give any suggestions. So there is no hard and fast rule that you cannot give the suggestions, you cannot give the doubts. But if you give the doubts, that is very clear to you, the concept is very clear to you. Okay, so that's all for today's session. Thank you so much everyone, and in the next class I will be taking your this chapter, that is a preservation, and tomorrow is the last class for this module, because this is the module that is finished tomorrow only. So tomorrow is the last class for business skills for e-commerce, and day after tomorrow, that is from 9th of April, I'm going to start with the new module. I will tell you tomorrow what is a new module, or which is the new module. So I will tell you in the tomorrow's class. Okay, so tomorrow is the last class for this module. So thanks a lot everyone. Bye bye everyone.